Hello, this is a short instructional video on the individual quiz Mimir scoring and bonus counting combined roles app. Okay, so the web address to go to is here. We can ignore this slash, and the button to click first is individual quiz. Okay, in here you can adjust the number of rounds, players, or questions in the round, but these are all pretty standard for the Brain of London and MQL Mimir tournaments. There's other boxes where you can enter the name of the league, the competition, questioner, scorer, bonus caller, and then the player names. And you can also give start points, but normally these competitions are run from scratch. Okay, so what you would then do is you would click start, but because there's no players, there's no data. So what I'm going to do is go back to settings and put in some demo data. Okay, so these are players that contested a Brain of London competition in I think 2015, something like that. So I'm going to click start here. So the boxes we've got here are round one, player one. This tells you obviously the round and the player, and then what question number is here. And then after the question number is what I'm going to call the priority chain. So this is the order that people can have a stab at the question if a player passes or gets the answer wrong. Obviously, if a player gets an answer wrong on his own question, it doesn't count as a bonus attempt, and that is reflected here. So this is a table that is constantly updating throughout the game, and you'll see the points, bonus attempts, the position of players in, the amount of his own questions. He's got a number of bonus points, number of X's, and then this is the current round data. So it's points. Points on own questions and X's in the round, and then the P here is all those same pieces of data relating to the previous round, so you could call that out at the end of the round if you wanted to. I'll do a little example. So in this example I'll say this Kevin gets the question wrong initially, and then Paul gets it correct, so that counts as a bonus attempt for Paul. This is always updating. The main thing to be clear on is that every time you click one of these buttons, the correct pass or wrong buttons or kill button, it always relates to the player whose name is in bold and underlined in this priority chain. So as long as you know that there's this link between the player mentioned here, who's in bold and underlined, and the button, then you're probably not going to go far wrong. There's also an undo button if you make a mistake, but if you do make a mistake, you have to go back to wherever the mistake was made and then put everything right after it, because it won't just assume that everything was right after the mistake was made. So I'll do an example here where the question is answered correctly, and you'll also see that because Paul got a bonus attempt on that earlier question, he's now at the end of the priority chain, whereas he's actually in the room is sitting at seat number 2, but obviously Peter is higher in the priority chain because he hasn't had a bonus attempt yet. So, for example, if this question was answered incorrectly or passed, it doesn't make any difference, but you just go with what the player said. So we say this is a pass, and then it goes correct. So we will click correct. And you'll see that for Paul's questions, these 3 are going to be his own questions, but the priority chain has Peter at the end because he's the only one the only one who's not facing the questions who's had a bonus attempt at this stage. So as you can see, the priority chain is constantly updating through the match, so you don't really need to remember how many bonus attempts people have had. If you're doing this if you're administering this app, all you need to do is to read the names off the list. So if the question master said that the question is wrong, you click wrong and you call out Ian, and then maybe this is a pass, and you call out Kevin, and maybe this is correct, and then obviously the bonus attempt is added, the priority chain is updated. So you just carry on like that throughout the game. When you get to the end of the rounds, you can call out whatever data you want from here. As I said earlier, it will show the previous points, own questions, and X's in the round. What I'll do now is I'll go to the what it's like at the end of the game, which is here, settings, and I'll go demo done. Okay, so this is what the screen you'll see when the game is finished. If there's a tie break, you can put the details here so that they can be shared. And the big red button is to share the data. So you can either copy it to the clipboard. So you could press that clipboard button, copy to the clipboard, and then you'd open your email client and email it. Or you can generate the QR code for the match and then have somebody scan it with something like Google Lens or something so that they've got the result on their device. So you click on QR, and you'd see that image and you could scan that, and that would share the result. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. If you want to start a new game, obviously you can go back and then settings and then home and then click on individual quiz, and you've got a free screen again, so you can start anew. Okay, that's that. Thank you very much for listening.